What I'm going to show you today is my elephant garlic. Do you remember I showed that to you in a previous one? I showed you a bulb of the elephant garlic and a normal bulb, and it was so much bigger. Anyway, I planted those. I've dug one up and it was huge, it was massive. So when the tops, they're like onions, when the tops start to go brown, then they're ready to dig up, because once the tops go brown, then they're not going to do any more growing. But elephant garlic is ever so slightly different from normal garlic. When I pulled up the first one, there was the big bulb, and then there were 5 little ones round it. So what I did is I replanted those 5 little ones, because that's what you're supposed to do. So they're sitting in the soil, so hopefully they'll then grow next year, and then they'll have 5 additions to them, or some additions to them, and then you can replant the little ones. So I'm going to see if I can find it. I think it's down there, but the top has completely died, so I'm kind of having to guess. So hopefully that one's as good as the first one I dug up, otherwise I'll be a little bit disappointed. But anyway, let's have a go. Now I think, and think being the operative word, I think it's about here, because that's the top of it. So if we just give it a bit of a dig round here, and hopefully we won't end up slicing it in half. Knowing me, it's not anywhere near there, and we'll have fun trying to find it. And it'll be such a shame if I can't. No, it doesn't seem to be there, does it? Let's try over here. I might have to turn the camera off, and when I find it, turn it back on again and show you. Oh look, here we go. Found it. It's not as big as the other one at all. It's here. So let's just dig a little bit more and see, because there were 3 that I planted. 1, 2. This one's not as big. I'll have to show you. Oh look, here we go. There we are. I was in the vague sort of area. There we are. Let's just dig round a little bit more and see if we can find any more little ones. Okay. I think that may well be about it. But I might have a bit more of a dig just to see if I can find any more. But I think that's most probably it. Okay. Okay, so here, oh, let's put those down, don't want to lose those. Here are the 2 bulbs that I'm going to take home. That one's really, really small actually. That one is about the size of the one that I've got in the fridge. And so that's a bigger one. So it's not as big as it could be, but it's much bigger than normal garlic. And attached to those, I only found 4 actually. But you've got these tiny, they kind of attach themselves around the bottom here. If I'd have taken these ones out earlier, the other ones were actually stuck to them. So what you'll find are like small little round things, and these little bits at the top, they're quite spiky actually, so do be careful. So you want to take these little bits and you want to replant them in the soil. Now I've started a row because of the 5 I got from the previous one, so I will just continue this row. If you want to plant them in a container or in a tyre, that might be actually a very, very good idea, because then you actually know that they're there, because I've had to mark this with sticks. So plant these tiny, tiny little bits, about 5 centimetres down, or about 2 inches down, and then about 6 inches apart, so that you can allow enough room for them to grow. And they should, over the winter, because you can sow garlic in the autumn anyway, and it doesn't really do anything over the winter, but then in the in the spring it starts to shoot up again. So they won't do anything over the winter, but then in the spring they'll start to grow, and then hopefully, because I've got 5 in there and then I've got 9, I've got 4 here, so that's 9. So in the spring I should start seeing shoots of garlic come up, so then I'll have a load more. That's the theory, okay? But we'll see how that works. But I'll just show you how to sow these. Okay, so this stick here is where I left off from the last few, so it means that that one's about there. So I'm going to start digging here, and just dig about 2 inches down, just pop one in and then just cover it up, and then a little bit further, about 6 inches apart, and drop another one in. Oh, remove any weeds, and then the other one, and just keep going like that until you've used them all up. And then I'll just put the stick at the end so I know that that's where I've got to, and if I find any more then I'll just add them to the line. In fact, whilst I was actually digging the soil and weeding that little bit where I wanted to put the small ones, I actually found 2 normal cloves of, or bulbs of garlic should I say, and they're there. So they can come home with me. If you don't want to use all of the garlic now, you need to sort of dry it. It's a bit like your onions, you need to put them somewhere to dry. So in a greenhouse or in a shed, as long as the air can circulate, and let them dry there for a good month or so. You'll know when they feel dry because you'll be able to feel them that they're dry, but you can use them as and when you want them. But before you pack them in a bag or a plat or whatever you want to do with them, make sure that they're dry, otherwise they'll start to rot and then you'll lose the whole lot. Okay, well I hope you found that useful, and if I find any more then I'll just continue my line, and hopefully in the spring they'll come up. So I'll have to write a proper label, otherwise the pencil mark on that one will go. So anyway, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.